Hello everyone. Today we are going to review the movie Baahubali, the beginning. Sorry, I can still hear what's going on my... I think it just started playing randomly for whatever reason, so sorry about that. Okay, so today we are going to review Baahubali, the beginning. Actually, I'm just going to exit Netflix here because I might be going upstairs in a second. So this movie was a long one. I started it actually on Friday, and today is Saturday, and I had to kind of watch it in shifts because, I don't know, I'm tired, but I can't seem to get any proper sleep right now, so I'm just going to literally kind of keep going until I am so wiped out that I literally do nothing else but just pass out. So that's how my day's been going. So we start out this movie with this woman who is running from somebody, we're not really sure who, but it looks like she is in pretty rough shape at the very beginning of the movie, and she's trying to save this baby. So we don't really know where she's found the baby, which leaves mystery to this movie, that's for sure, right from the beginning anyway. But it's this kid, I guess, who was the son of this great warrior, Baahubali, which makes sense as to why this movie is called Baahubali, the beginning. Now, I might be butchering that name completely, which I probably am, because this was a foreign film, and the movie was actually, the runtime on it was 2 hours and 39 minutes, I do believe, was the full runtime. Yep. They do have an English version of the film on Netflix as well, and it comes in, I was looking through my list, I think it's in like 4 different languages, so I'm not really sure. The original version is 2 hours and 39 minutes, the English version is 2 hours and 17 minutes, so I think I might actually go watch it in English as well, just to kind of see what they cut out, to see if it's really, worth watching it in English, or whether it would be better to just watch the original version in a different language with subtitles. Now, some of the subtitles move so quickly that it is hard to tell sometimes what they're saying, but I mean, the story is told well enough anyway that you get most of it. So if you're a fairly quick reader, I would say it's probably good to watch it in its original language. And if you are not a quick reader, just once I watch the English version and give my review of that, to kind of maybe compare the two films, I'll let you know whether it's still good enough to go see it or to watch it in English or not, because I don't think this film's going anywhere. And there is a part 2 that's like almost 3 hours long, and I don't know if I can sit through that right now again, just because some of it just seemed dragged out, and I don't know, and the movie wasn't boring by any means. It was just some of the storytelling just seemed to take a very, very long time, just the way they did parts of it. But I mean, overall, the movie as a whole was still really good. So when this kid grows up, we find out that his name is Shivadu, I do believe, was the main character. I think that's how they explain it anyway. See, sometimes it was hard to Yep, okay, Shivadu. So Shivadu, when he grows up, he played both parts. He played Baahubali and Shivadu. So it took me a second to actually make the connection when they're going into the past and telling the story of his father and his brother, Balahad Balahadelva? Balahad Bala Adiva. Bala Adiva. But we just called him Bala for they just call him Bala for the film purposes, because can you imagine trying to say everybody's full name throughout the entire movie? It would just be a huge mess, I think. Just because they have such long names. in this movie. So they are facing this. So first, before we actually get into the whole like backstory and his father and all of that, we have the woman who saved him, who was Shivagami at the very beginning of the movie. I believe it was her anyway. I think she ends up actually dying, and we have Devasana, who is his mother, who has now been captured by, whoops, or taken prisoner, I guess, and kind of tortured over the years by Bala, because we now know that he is king of the land, and obviously we know why later on in the movie what happened. And then there's this great warrior named Katapa, who I guess is basically serving as a slave to Bala due to the fact that that's in his family name. I guess they're supposed to be like servants of this other family. So it was, yeah, kind of a really weird concept because he wants to kill Bala, but at the same time he has to serve him. So, and I think he's trying to protect. He's obviously trying to protect Devasana from ending up dying, right? Because he does come to her one night and say, "Just please let me release you." But she says, "No, my son is still alive. He will come back for me, such and such." But I guess they think that he's dead because they were never able to find him. So it would make sense as to why they were chasing this woman down at the beginning of the movie, because obviously they didn't want the baby to make it, I guess. They were probably going to kill the baby as well, which is a crazy thing to do, but I guess when you're trying to rule a kingdom in those days, because I'm not really sure when this, like the time period of this, I know it was definitely old anyway, but I don't think they ever actually say the time period, and if they do, it doesn't say here. But and I can't remember what tribe it was that attacked them in the end. But the tribe that attacked them in the end, just because the names are so odd, of the tribes, but the kingdom that Bala took over was they're in Mashamati, India, I guess, is where they are. And the kingdom they were in was... It says here somewhere. I guess just Mashamati Kingdom. And then... And then who were the people that tried to attack them? Anyway, it does say at the beginning of the movie, kind of, but I guess I missed that, because I didn't realize it was a map of like the tribes, I guess, because I didn't know any of the story going into it, so I wasn't really paying that much attention to the names on the map, so I kind of just went in completely blindly to the actual story. But when Shivadu grows up, he starts to try to climb this mountain because he wants to find out where he actually came from, because he knows that the tribe that he's in now isn't his actual home, even though he does refer to the one woman as his mother. He knows there's more out there in the world, right? So he's lived a pretty sheltered life. So even though he fails to climb the mountain for the first few times, I think it was when he finally saw the vision of a beautiful woman that he was able to muster up enough strength to finally climb the mountain. And he actually ends up running into this like kick-ass warrior princess named Avathinka, played by Tamana Batia? Jeez. And Devasana was played by Anashuk. Anushka Shetty. Katappa was played by Sathrajai. Shivagami was played by Rama Krishan. Bala was played by Rana Dugabadi. That might be the easiest one to pronounce, actually, I think. I hope I got that one right. And Shivadu and oh God, why did I forgot to pronounce it? Baahubali was played by Prabhas. I hope I'm pronouncing all those names right. So he runs into this warrior princess who he immediately falls in love with, because that just seems to be how these hero movies go for whatever reason. I find like with foreign films, it's very odd. They just kind of like throw in the love interest like right off the hop. There's no real like build up to it. Kind of like it seems like they're almost I don't know how to put it, like behind on the times with the romantic stuff, because it seems Hollywood does like, you kind of build up, build up, build up. These movies are just like bam, these people are going to be in love, and it's just going to happen so quickly that you can't even like say they shouldn't be together, they should be together. It just kind of makes it seem like they're together, right from the beginning. And she's obviously trying to be a leader, so but you can kind of tell she's conflicted about it a little bit. So when Shivadu finally gets her alone, he ends up showing her her true beauty, so she kind of falls in love with that and falls in love with him. And then she does help him to actually go save Devasana, but he doesn't know that that's his mother, I don't think at the time anyway. He doesn't know who this person is at all, right? Because he's been raised somewhere else his entire life. But he does have unbelievable strength, so I'm assuming he probably is wondering where that's coming from. So then when he finally gets to save Devasana, that's when he runs into Katappa, and they have their huge fight, and he ends up killing, I don't know whether it was like the next in line, and I believe that character was Aslam Khan, played by Sudeep. I believe that's who that was. Anyway, he ends up killing him. Shivadu ends up killing him, and then that's when we go back to the story of the battle between the two armies, and Bala betraying his brother Baahubali, and yeah, obviously Baahubali didn't know that that was going to happen, and it wasn't actually his brother himself that betrayed Baahubali, because I guess because of Katappa's, I guess, debt to the other family, he ends up being the one that kills Baahubali. So it's going to be an interesting second part to this movie, because I'm wondering whether Shivadu is going to be able to give Katappa the benefit of the doubt now and trusting him, because obviously he's going to have to take on his uncle in order to take back the kingdom and set things straight. In the second movie, I would imagine, is what's going to happen there. What else can I say about this movie? God, the action sequences, and I did notice this when they had like any animals and stuff in it, they would actually put up on the screen that anything with an animal in it was CGI. So I thought that was kind of a neat touch, because obviously I guess they don't do like the same thing as America does with like the Humane Society and stuff, so I guess you would have to kind of find another way around that to say, hey, like, just so you know, none of these animals are actually real, so nothing's actually being harmed in the making of this film, but we're going to tell you that we're doing it while the scene is happening, rather than wait till the end of the movie to let you know. And yeah, the action sequences, especially in the war scene, the weaponry seemed really advanced. and it was kind of interesting. It was almost like they almost did like sacrifices like the Vikings would do. So yeah, I found that kind of interesting because I didn't know that that was a cultural thing for them with sacrifices and stuff. But they did sacrifice the bull, and then Bahubali ends up throwing his own blood on the statue or whatever to protect his warriors from dying, because I guess they have to have some sort of blood sacrifice, just like the Vikings would do to, kind of fulfill their crops and things. I guess it's the same thing with their warriors. So obviously Bala thinks that he's going to get the title of king, and when he realizes that instead of just going in for the kill of the other leader, of the other army's leader, he should have been more protective of the normal people that they put out in front of them as a shield. Uh, so it looks like he's going to be king, but then Shivadu's mother says no, that Bahubali will be king, because he showed the heart of a warrior, but also kindness too. So I guess it takes more to be a warrior than just, going in for the kill, right? Which does make sense because you have to also, or no, a leader. A leader shows more than just going in for the kill. A warrior is always just one mindset, but a leader shows both compassion and heart of a warrior. So it kind of, yeah, it just makes sense. So he gets named leader, and then he gets killed by Katapa. And then that's literally the end of the movie. It just flashes back to Shivadu kind of taking on the role. I guess he must have gained some of his father's powers. That would make some sense. Because they did show him as a baby, like grabbing a finger, and him like being super strong already. So I guess everybody kind of knew that he was going to have that sort of potential, that knew that he was the baby of Bahubali, which makes sense. But yeah, I think I have to give this movie an 8.5 out of 10. It was good. The only flaw I would say is maybe some of the scenes were dragged out a little long, but I mean, it was a longer movie, and maybe I'm just saying that because I was a little tired when I was watching it. But I mean, you can't just see with, I know I'm probably going to say this a lot, but with most movies, I find, and I've started watching quite a few other reviews, it feels like, and I know you're supposed to find criticisms obviously in a review, but I feel like some other reviewers just focus on criticisms, and don't really take the film as a whole. And yeah, I don't know why. They just kind of like nitpick at one or two things that were bad in the film, and then kind of just base the whole film around that. And that would spoil the film for you, right? Like, you got to take the film, like story, graphics, like everything. Everything needs to be taken into consideration, and I just feel like some of the other reviewers I've watched just don't really do that. That's just me saying that. But I know I'm a very small time reviewer right now, so maybe the way I do this will change as I go along, but I like to tell the story and then kind of give my criticisms of the story a little bit. And I mean, the CGI in this was not great by any means. The snake did look real, and I think some of the animals were real, like some of the horses were actually used in this movie, because some of it didn't say CGI, but then when they were like tipping over the animals and stuff, they obviously had props, right? So you definitely knew that no actual animals were being harmed. But yeah, 8.5 out of 10 for this movie. It was a good movie, long movie, so if you don't have almost 3 hours to just sit down and watch a movie, I would say this probably isn't the movie for you. And it was kind of Bollywood filming, Bollywood feeling in some parts, but I wouldn't really consider this a Bollywood movie. But it seems that all of these types of foreign films have some sort of musical part in them, and I would say most of the music was just set with the scene, and I honestly only think there was one real scene where the two of them were actually singing to one another. Yeah, there was only one scene, and that was like the kind of like lovey-dovey romance aspect of it. So Uh, I mean, that maybe could have been the one scene that was cut out, just because that did. I was like, oh, come on, really? But I mean, I get it, I guess, in the sense of like, it's a very different way of doing the love scene. Like, here we are, and now we're in love, and now you can't even really like question it, right? The relationship, like I said before. So, but other than that, I don't think I have anything bad to say about this movie. Still an 8.5 out of 10 for me. So as always, like, share, subscribe, and comment down below your thoughts on this film. If you've seen it, if not, go watch the original. And I'm going to watch it in English next, I think. And then I will kind of do a little review of that, shorter than this one, obviously. Just kind of like maybe a comparison. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye for now.